Most people are familiar with John the Baptist as the wild man who ate locusts and honey as he called for repentance in the Judean wilderness. But did you know that this forerunner of the Messiah was also the true high priest of the Jewish people of his time? He was the son of Elizabeth and Zacharias, both of the priestly bloodline of Aaron. You may remember Zacharias. He was offering incense in the holy place when Gabriel announced that he would have a son, who would come in the power and spirit of Elijah, based on the prophecy found in Malachi 4. He foolishly questioned the angel and found himself struck dumb from that moment until the birth of Yochanan the Immerser, or better known to us as John the Baptist. Speaking of Elijah, you may have wondered why in John 1:21 the people asked John the Baptist if he was Elijah. Well, do you remember the mantle that Elijah wore with the leather girdle? It was made of camel's hair. If you notice in Matthew 3:4, John is wearing the same thing. Ancient writings state that the mantle was placed in the altar of incense to wait the return of Elijah, and that Zacharias took it out upon Gabriel's words and later gave it to his son. So if John was the high priest, what was he doing out in the middle of nowhere, eating insects and dressed in animal skins, when he should have been back at the temple, wearing priestly robes, eating the best of the lamb portions, and offering sacrifices on behalf of the nation of Israel? Well, things had changed a lot in the 400 years of divine silence from Malachi to the apostolic writings of the New Testament. During the days that Jesus, or Yahshua, walked the earth, the Aaronic priesthood had already been corrupted for over 200 years. The office of high priest was no longer held by those of the line of Aaron, which was God's strict requirement, but instead it was now controlled by Rome, and the puppet position simply went to the highest bidder. The wealthy and aristocratic Sadducees often had the money and the political connections for the job. In 18 AD, Roman procurator Valerius Gratus appointed Caiaphas, a Sadducee, as the high priest. He was not a descendant of Aaron and had no business being high priest. Caiaphas will turn out to be a fascinating character in this series, and we'll look at him more closely in a later Treasure Insight. But the gross defilement of God's system just confirmed the need for what was going to happen next: the official end of the Aaronic priesthood and the transfer of authority to the new high priest of the order of Melchizedek. In the next segment, we'll look at some generally overlooked details and events that took place during the amazing transition that took us from the dying priesthood of Aaron to the eternal order of Melchizedek. Because Jesus is the high priest of this new order, we can rejoice in what Hebrews 7:16 tells us, that this new high priest is made not after the law of a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. As kings and priests under him, we too have this authority. Meditate on that, and until next time, shalom.